I was born October the 29th, 1923, in Wayne County.
In Wayne County?
At home.
How many siblings did you have?
2 sisters and a brother older than me.
So you were the youngest?
I was the youngest. Uh-huh.
I'm the youngest. I can identify with that. Did you get picked on a lot as a kid?
Probably.
Your parents?
Ben, his name was Bernard. We called him Ben Daniels. My mother was Catherine O'Connell. I think her middle name was Frances, but we called her, of course, we called her Mom.
Right.
But everybody else called her Katie.
What did your parents do for a living?
Well, we're farmers. Before they got married, my mother kept house for a priest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In Wayne County?
In Cambridge, I believe.
Okay. Now, where were your parents born? Where were they from?
Well, my father was from New Alcis, Indiana. That's in Dearborn County. And my mother was born up around Jacksonburg. That's Wayne County. Just south of where I-70 is now, the little town of Jacksonburg.
Now, obviously, with the last name O'Connell, her ancestors were probably from Ireland.
Her father was from Ireland. Her mother was from here, but her parents were from Ireland. And her father came here during the old potato thing.
The potato famine?
Yeah, when they had in Ireland.
Now, what about your father's side of the family?
Both his parents came from Germany.
Very cool.
And it was close to the French border. My grandparents were first here in America.
Okay. All right, so we talked about your siblings. There were 4 of you. What were your siblings' names? I know them, but...
Bernice, and we called her Snooks.
Snook. We called her Aunt Niece, of course.
Aunt Niece, yeah. And then next was Irvin Joseph, his name, but we call him Bud.
I honestly did not know his name was Irvin, I think, until much later in life.
Yeah.
When I saw his name on something in Sis's house, I think.
And then Mildred. And she was called Sis.
What was Sis's middle name?
Pardon?
What was her middle name?
Rosa.
Okay, I thought so.
R-O-S-A.
I couldn't remember if it was Rose or Rosa.
And then me.
Now, were they all born in Wayne County as well?
Bernice was born in Fayette County.
Oh, okay.
But those other 3 were in Wayne County.
So you grew up on a farm.
Uh-huh.
What did you do as kids on the farm?
We had a lot of chores to do.
Like what? What would be a typical day?
What would be a typical day? Well, when Sis and I got a little bit older, we used to have to take the cows up in the morning to the pasture up by the dam, Feeder's Dam, to the woods. And then we had to go up in the evening and bring them back home. And we had to, the winter time, we had to bring in wood from the woodshed into the back porch for the day's supply of wood for the next day. We used to have to go out and feed the chickens and gather the eggs.
That doesn't sound like much fun.
And we had to just do odd jobs like that. Mm-hmm. Help in the house. Well, Bernice, no, she did most of the help with Grandma in the house. And Sis and I did more. We had to milk cows, too.
Oh, wow. So you were busy kids. What did you do when you actually had time to play? What did you play?
We used to play in the barn a lot.
Like, did you play a certain game or?
No, not really. Our neighbor kids came and during the summer we played baseball a lot.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
If you want to call it baseball.
But you grew up without electricity, you were saying.
Well, I was 3 years old We got electricity put in the house, and I remember it because where the dam was, that's up close to where we lived. They generated electricity there, and then they had put the lines. In order to get the lines to where they wanted them to go, they had to go through our field. So by putting it through our field, they put electricity in our house. I was 3 years old.
Wow. And
what I remember about it is this man was in the house and he was running up and down our stairs from the first downstairs up to the upstairs. I couldn't know why he was doing that, but then...
With installing everything.
But that's what I remember about it.
Did a lot of people around you have electricity?
Oh, no.
Nobody?
Not for years.
Wow.
Not until, I was born in 1923, so this is 1926, and a lot of them didn't have electricity until in the 40s.
Wow. So you guys were kind of state-of-the-art at
yes,
your house.
Yes, we were pioneers in the electric. We did not have any kind of a bathroom facility in the house as long as they lived there.
Wow.
And they moved from there in 1943.
So you had an outhouse?
Yes.
The whole time you lived there?
Yes.
Wow. That doesn't sound like fun in the winter.
I don't recall it being a hardship. Well, we didn't know anything different.
Right, that's true. That's true.
And of course, we didn't have a bathtub. A lot of people had metal bathtubs they brought in the house, and would fill it with water, and then they'd get their bath. But we didn't even have that.
So how did you bathe? Sponge
bath out of a wash basin.
The whole time you were growing up?
Yes.
Wow.
I never took a bath in a tub until I was in nursing school.
Wow. And that was just common? For the most part?
Yes, for the most part it was.
Wow. Where did you go to grade school?
Went to grade school at Milton. Started the first grade and went all from 1 to 12.
How many kids were in your class?
Oh, I don't remember when we began. There were probably 20-some, but when we graduated, there were 8.
Are there any, other than you, are there any others left?
2 more.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a pretty good sight from that long ago.
Yeah, very good percentage.
You guys have a longevity in your genes.
I guess. It must be good living conditions in
Milton.
Mountain.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Recess.
An actual subject.
Oh, I don't think I had any favorite.
What was your least favorite?
Well, in high school, it was Latin. Took 2 years. First year, I knew kind of what was going on. The second year, I had no clue. Well, next to that was geometry. It was terrible.
Did you do work on the farm through high school, or did you ever get a job off the farm?
No, I never had a job off the farm.
Okay.
I have to tell you something about school. In the first grade, I was very shy, and I would not talk for the first month. I would not talk at all. Wouldn't talk to the teacher. We wouldn't at all. Out on the playground, they did. First report card, we got them every month, once a month. I had all E's, and that was failing.
Oh, my.
My mother said she understood what the problem was. She said, if you start talking in school, I'll buy you a doll. And so I started talking. From then I got straight A's.
Wow.
But I never did get the doll.
That's terrible.
My aunt who lived across the road from me, she was in on that too.
She didn't get you a doll either?
Neither one of them.
What was the name of your aunt?
Aunt Minnie.
And she was your mother's sister or your dad's sister?
She was my dad's brother's wife.
Oh, okay. So what year did you graduate?
1941.
Right around the brink of the war, right?
Well, the war started for us. The war was already going on in Europe, but for
Right.
the United States, it started in 1941, December of 1941.
Do you remember where you were when
Yes.
Pearl Harbor was attacked?
Yes, I remember exactly where I was when I heard about it. I was going, up in nursing school in Indianapolis, and we'd been downtown, and we rode streetcars all the time and had gone to a movie. And when on the way back from the movie on the streetcar, I heard the news that Pearl Harbor had been bombed.
Wow. Now,
But of course, then we had no idea where Pearl Harbor was.
right. You just knew it was America somewhere. So you had already started nursing school that fall?
Yes,
Okay, and you went in Indianapolis?
in St. Vincent's, Indianapolis.
How long were you in nursing school?
It was a 3-year course,
Oh,
year
wow.
round.
So did you have to board up there?
Yes, we had a nurses home right by the hospital.
Okay. Now, obviously, Bud and Sis both served. So did they get into the service after Pearl Harbor, or were they already enlisted before?
No, they were after Pearl Harbor.
Where was Bud stationed?
Bud was at Purdue at the time. He had 3 years in Purdue, and when he enlisted, and then he was during World War II. He was never overseas. He was always here in the United States.
Well, that's a blessing.
And he was in Florida.
And Sis was in San Diego, right? If I remember correctly.
Los Angeles. It was near Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
No, not San Diego. It was
Okay.
further north than that.
Okay.
But she didn't. She went in. She was in just a year, and it was the last year of the war.
Oh, okay. So was she in nursing school with you?
Year ahead.
Oh, a year ahead of you in nursing school. So did you guys get to a room together?
Oh no. No, each class had a floor. There were 3 floors in the nurses' school home, and each class had their own floor.
Okay. So what did you do after you got out of nursing school?
After I got out of nursing school, I stayed in Indianapolis and went to Allison. That was a factory where they were making the jet engines.
Okay.
Worked as an industrial nurse for not very long, just a few months really. Then I went back to St. Vincent's and worked on one of the floors, a men's floor.
Okay. So when did you meet Grandpa? Or how did you know Grandpa?
I had known him ever since Aunt Niece and George got married.
Oh, okay. So when did you guys get engaged?
Well, I was out of nursing school. I was still living in Indianapolis.
Okay. When did you get married?
1946.
1940. Oh, so you were out of school for a while before you got...
I was out of
out of high school.
Out of high school.
So you would have been 22, 23?
23. Uh-huh.
Okay. And then, obviously, you started having children.
Pardon me?
Obviously, you started having children.
Right.
When was Danny's the oldest, right?
Yeah, he's the oldest. He was born in 1947 in August.
Okay. And then from there you had...
Mark.
Mark was the second oldest, right?
Yes.
Is Dad next?
Then your dad, David. And then Doug. And then Brad, who died when he was 10 months old.
Right.
And then Beth. Kay. Myra. Janet. and Charlotte.
So you remember all their names? That's good.
Well, I hope so.
When you and Grandpa got married, did you move into the house you currently live in right away?
Yes.
So you've lived there for all that time?
Mm-hmm.
Since 19... That's a long time.
70 years.
And do you know a little bit about the history of the house?
No, not a whole lot. We think it was built in around 1870 because of the style of the architecture.
Where did Grandpa grow up?
He moved there to that house when he was 7 years old.
Okay, wow, he lived in that house a long, long time then.
Well, not as long as I have lived in it.
That's true. That's true. Well, I guess percentage of his life. 7 years old. Where was his side of the family from?
Down around New St. Leon.
Where is that?
It's down in around New Alcid. How do I want to tell you where it was?
Southern Indiana?
No. Just Dearborn County.
Okay. When did you start working as a nurse at the Connersville Hospital?
November,
or did you?
Yes. November 1945.
What did you do there?
General nurse, staff nurse. I worked PR in that as needed from 1946. And then I went on full-time, part-time. That means you work like X number of days every week.
Uh-huh.
I started doing that in 1965.
Okay.
And I quit working in 1994.
But you still volunteered down there after that.
Well,
right?
as a volunteer, yeah.
Because I remember you being down there as a volunteer
Mm-hmm.
when I had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was after 1994. Did you get a big retirement party?
No, I didn't. They asked me if I wanted one. I said no.
Oh, well, at least they offered.
Right.
They should have bought you a doll. That's what they should have done.
Yes, they should have.
You should have asked for a doll.
One time, I believe this is about the craziest. This man was a diabetic. We always gave them their medicine, their insulin, shortly before their meal time. And I don't know if the meal was delayed or a little bit or what, but Nurse A came down to me. She said, "This man's acting really strange." And I went back there and he was standing on his head in the middle of the bed.
That seems like a bizarre symptom of...
They did crazy things like that.
Going back to your kids, because there's a lot of them. Danny was born, you said, 1947?
Yes.
So when was Charlotte, your youngest, born?
17 years later, 1980 or 63.
So 10 kids in 17 years. Tell me a little bit about that. Do you remember when they were all young? What that was like?
It didn't seem too bad. They only increased one at a time.
That's true. Well, hopefully, I guess as the other ones are getting older, they can help take care of the younger ones to a certain extent.
Entertain them at least. Yeah, they did.
But see, that's gonna, when the grandkids, well, my nieces and nephews, your great grandkids, watch this, that's gonna seem like a giant family to them. 10 kids, but that was pretty common to have a lot of kids back in that time.
More common than it is now, yeah.
So what do you remember about David as a kid?
Well, when he was little, up until he was in school, there for a while, it was a couple of years, all he would eat were hot dogs, wieners, we call them hot dogs, and ice cream.
That's it? What about breakfast?
Well, yeah, he ate cereal, yeah.
But then other than that, just hot dogs and ice cream?
That's he would eat a little more, but that's all he ever wanted. And I don't know how old he was. I said, "David, if you don't quit eating all this ice cream, it's going to start coming out of your ears."
I have news for you. He hasn't stopped eating it.
And I don't know why he didn't know I did this. I came up beside him, put some ice cream in his ear. And he really thought that he was young enough, he really thought that happened.
Did that scare him off of ice cream for a while?
No.
He still loves it. He eats it all the time. And feeds it to the dog, unfortunately. What else do you remember about Dad as a kid?
He was very athletic.
Because he was
always doing something.
He was in football and track and all sorts of stuff later, right, in high school?
Mm-hmm. Basketball.
What chores did you have the kids do around the house? Basically everything?
Yeah, they had to help do dishes and keep the house straightened up, take care of their rooms. And they had to, when I did the laundry, I would sort them out in the piles, every kid was supposed to take their pile of clothes upstairs and put them away.
A lot of laundry. How often did you have to do laundry? Every day?
No. We had we didn't have automatic washers then. We did it twice a week.
You had to hand wash?
Well, it was a washing machine, electric.
So how did that work?
Well, the washing machine had an agitator in it. It went back and forth, and then you put them through a wringer. And you had to do that manually. And then had put through two rinse tubs, which they were connected, but they were two different sets of water. Right. And you had to wring them from each one, from the washing machine into the first tub, into the second tub, from the second tub into your wash basket.
So a lot of work. Yeah. And then you had to hang it all out to dry.
Yeah, I had to hang it outside to dry.
Well, what would you do in the winter, though?
We had places in the house that managed to dry them all. They didn't change clothes every day.
So they would wear... Well, did they have uniforms for school?
No.
No? I'm assuming there was some sort of dress code.
No.
There wasn't?
No.
Wow. I thought it would have been more strict back then. Now, all the kids went to St. Gabe's.
Yes.
Okay. And back then, did it go through high school?
No, they had 7. When Beth was in the 7th grade is when they quit having junior high.
Oh,
but they had, we call it junior high, now it's middle school.
Right.
But they had grade 1 through 8.
And then they went on to the public high school.
Yeah.
When was the first time you owned a TV? Do you remember?
Yes, your dad was a baby. He wasn't walking yet. He was using the walker, or what do we call it? Taylor tot. It was one that you could take him outside, and it had a handle on it. But you took the handle off, and they could walk around the house with it. The reason I remember that is your grandpa had to have back surgery. And at that time, they had to be in bed for 3 months. They had a cast on from up under their arms down to their hips. And the reason I remember about your dad was he was in that little Taylor tot walker thing. Went out to the bed and tried to pull himself up into the bed. He didn't quite make it, but he tried.
Why did Grandpa have to have back surgery?
Ruptured disc.
All right, back to farm life. Did you, on the farm, you had cattle?
Yes, hogs. Chickens.
I get the sense that you don't like the chickens. They're messy.
Yes, they're messy. Always in your way.
Did you have sheep?
No.
Did you have horses back then, or that
No.
was just when the
That was
girls
later.
got older?
Mm-hmm.
I remember just Charlotte and Janet taking care of the horses. all
Yeah,
the time.
Charlotte was... Well, she was still way down in grade school. But she was about 10 years old when, or even younger when they got horses. We got horses. A neighbor had horses, and they wanted a place where they could board, graze. And we said, yeah, he could come use our barnyard. And he, the kids could ride as much as they wanted and so forth. And so he gave us a horse. That was how the girls got started with horses.
Now, when did your parents pass away?
I don't remember the dates on that.
Well, your
Mom was 90 years old when she died.
It was after 1980. I know that because Sarah has some memories of her. And she was born in 1980.
Yeah, she died before your grandpa did. And my father was killed in a tractor accident. And that was in Well, it was when Kennedy first became president. When was that? You don't know that either.
I do. I should know this. I want to say 61? Because he was assassinated in 60.
Yeah, about like that.
All right. Do you remember when Mom and Dad got Sarah?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember anything about meeting her for the first, or her as a kid?
She was 2 months old, 2 weeks old.
2 weeks? Oh, so she was still young.
Yeah, 2 weeks old. I remember her as being one of the prettiest babies I have ever seen, before or since.
Now, what about Seth? Do you remember him being born?
Yes.
Was he a troublemaker as a kid?
No.
Oh, come on.
Seth and Sean picked on Kyle.
Okay, yeah. They weren't very nice. They picked on both of us, actually.
Probably.
They weren't very nice.
And Kyle still remembers that.
I do too. I remember it very,
I don't know
well.
what they did to you, but
I remember them chasing us through a cornfield and throwing stuff at us. And I remember them.
You played in the barn a lot.
Yeah, we were in the greenhouse. We would play. Kyle and I would play in the greenhouse, and they came in and stole our. I don't know. We were collecting things, and they stole it.
They stole.
They did all sorts of stuff that wasn't very nice. I remember they would always pop out and scare us too. They would hide. Sometime for 15, 20 minutes must have been hiding. And then they would pop out and scare us, which I hate to this day. So, speaking of grandkids and great-grandkids, you had 10 children. How many grandkids do you have?
There were 23 total. 2 of them died at birth. Mm-hmm. But I include them.
Sure. 23. And then how many great-grandkids?
As of now, there's 17.
Wow. Who's the oldest grandkid would be? Dustin and Jeremy? Or Julie?
They're Dustin and Jeremy. And Julie's just a couple months younger than they are.
When were they born?
Dustin and Jeremy were born a week before Christmas. I was 50 years old, so I can remember their age exactly.
And then, let's see, the youngest grandkid would be Abby? No.
Paige.
And who's the oldest great-grandchild?
Keaton.
And then, as of right now, as of this taping, who's the youngest great-grandchild?
Pam's, Ian.
So, when did Grandpa pass away?
1988.
1988. How old was he?
68.
So still pretty young. Wow. And he had cancer?
Yes.
Obviously, you've traveled a little bit. What are some of the places you've traveled to?
Oh, quite a few places overseas, Europe.
Where did you go in Europe?
We went to Italy, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, Australia, New Zealand.
Do you have a favorite place you visited? Either here in the U.S. or abroad?
Well, actually, I kind of like Mexico.
Oh, really?
I've been down there 3 times, and I like Mexico.
Different places in Mexico or specific?
Yes.
Have you gone to see the archaeological site there? Like the pyramids?
Yes.
Yeah. Way down into Mexico.
Actually, I've been to Mexico 4 times.
Wow.
I forgot about the first time. I had an aunt and uncle lived in California and went out to visit them, and they took us down. It was just across the border.
To Tijuana?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That must have been fun. What is your favorite food?
Chili.
Chili? I didn't know that. Any type of chili? Just
yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite movie?
Gone with the Wind.
Which you saw in the theater, right?
Right.
When it first came out?
Yeah, came out to Connersville in 1940.
Wow.
And one of my classmates, her mother, took a carload of us girls in the class down to the movie in the afternoon. And we got permission from the principal to be out of school to go to the movie.
What about a favorite TV show?
MASH.
Really? I remember you watching a lot
It
of
still
MASH.
is.
I remember that now, you watching a lot of MASH. You know, I remember a funny story that Janet told me, that her favorite show was Gunsmoke.
Yeah, I know what she's going to say.
And you wouldn't let her watch the last episode. It was on for 20 years, and she wanted to stay home and watch the last episode.
I made her go to instructions. It was that night. And you know, I have checked since then to find the last episode of that, like on a,
DVD.
video or whatever, and I've never been able to find it.
Someone should track down A Doll for You and the last episode of Gunsmoke for Janet. Did you have a favorite book?
Probably Gone with the Wind.
I Sense of Theme. It's a fantastic book.
When we were in high school, a man in Melton got the book, and he let all of us, whoever wanted, to read it. And we all took our turns.
What would you say is the key to your longevity?
I have no idea.
Not even a clue?
No, not really.
Is there anything you would want to pass along as advice to the great-grandkids?
To the great-grandkids? Just be good little kids and good people all the rest of your life.